So in this video, we're gonna talk about the Ayala REIT, a REIT. So if you want to know more about this particular REIT, then check this video out. So hey guys, we are back again for another REIT related video. So if you have not known about this, I've created several videos about this all throughout the history of the channel, but I'm putting 3 links below for you guys to do more research on it. The first one is everything you need to know about REITs. So the details, the basics on what REITs are. I hope you watch that before you watch this so that you have a background and you have context also on what our REITs would normally be. And then I also posted a video way back differentiating REITs versus rental property. So for those who are asking what's the difference between REITs and rental properties, link is in the description below. And the third one, I created another video about the Double Dragon REIT. For those who want to know more about that, it's also in the description below so that you can also analyze it as well. So please do note the difference in time. The Double Dragon REIT will be October, while this one I'm gonna mention when it's coming out and when you can actually also avail of it as well. So before I continue, it's true that we're quite late in the game for real estate investment trust, and Singapore has been using it and maximizing it for quite some time. So I think that's one of the biggest differences, and this will open up a lot of opportunities for our listed companies that want to tap further funding. So please remember, the name of the game and the reason why they are doing the REITs is it's a good way for them to get extra funding above and beyond what they can get from normal IPO, from preferred shares, from bonds, etc. This gives them additional sources on how they can get more money for them to be able to expand further. So again, this will kickstart our series talking about AREIT. I'm thinking of doing a deep dive also similar to what I did with Mary Mart, where we're going to talk about the fundamentals of AREIT. We're going to talk about the different aspects also if you want to make money from REITs as well. So please remember also, while we're doing this in parallel, we have several videos out already which we are doing a deep dive. We have a deep dive on Dito. We're gonna still do a deep dive on Converge. We just have one video out. And then, as what I've mentioned at the start, we're doing a deep dive also on the Double Dragon REIT IPO. The main context of why people buy REITs is that they get dividends from the earnings of those properties. So basically, AREIT has 3 buildings. So AREIT is basically Solaris 1, Ayala North Exchange, and McKinley Exchange. If you're trying to analyze it, all these 3 buildings are basically in Makati. All these 3 buildings also are owned by Ayala, and all these 3 buildings also follow proper tenants also of the REIT as prescribed by the laws that we have here. And it's very, very interesting that since they're in Makati, they will remain relevant over the next 30 to 50 years. And if you study those buildings, they have a good tenant mix, that they're not just purely office space, but they also have commercial space. And part of the rules also for REIT is that there's capable property management. And there's one thing that I'll say here. Ayala is very, very good in terms of property management. Of all the property companies here in the Philippines, they have a very, very good track record of managing property. So I'll repeat it. Solaris 1, Ayala North Exchange, and McKinley Exchange. So above and beyond you researching it, what you can get from all of this, if you're very, very close to Makati, then why not just go and check the buildings itself? The reason why I'm saying that also is that if this was under normal circumstances, then all is good and well. But please do remember what I've mentioned. 2020, we are sitting on a new normal because of this lockdown, because of this pandemic, because also of work from home. I mentioned it in a lot of videos that I've already shown that one of the biggest hit also because of this pandemic, lockdown, and work from home is the property sector. Imagine if there will be more people working from home, then the need for office spaces would be smaller. Also, there's still a lot of people not going to offices yet, then it would greatly affect their commercial spaces, meaning a lot of people would not be eating out. A lot of people who would be in those offices would not be eating lunch out. So it would greatly affect the foot traffic. So For those who are curious that could it possibly hit the profitability of those buildings, yes, it would. That's why it's very, very important that you study it very, very well. As these companies start to enter the stock exchange, then all of the details also for the earnings of the building would be disclosed. So the same way that you would see companies declare their earnings for the entire company, in the same way also the entire REIT would have to disclose also the earnings of the company. In the same way, it would also have to include the vacancies, the occupancy rate also. So again, if the rental rates are not good or if there's a lot of vacancies, then dividends would not be good. If dividends would not be good, then there's a possibility also that there would not be a lot of demand for it. Think about it this way. The stock market is all about supply and demand. More buyers bring the prices up, more sellers bring the prices down. If the yields are not so attractive, then the stock price might not be so high because a lot of people would be comparing either their yields from REITs or also other dividend paying stocks. Please remember, there are other stocks in the market that are giving out yields. You have common shares that are pumping up earnings also that are giving you dividends, and you also have the preferred shares. Then you have to also compare it with what the yields of REITs will be, because if they're not so attractive, then the whole context of people going into REITs is the yields that they would get. So if it's not as attractive, then what's the context of people coming into it? Next, when can you buy the AREIT? So basically, you can get the AREIT similar to an IPO, that there will be a period where it gets offered. But after it gets listed, you can buy it like any common stock. So why am I saying this? If you don't get to buy it during the offer period, you will still have an opportunity to buy it later on when it's in the market already. And also when it's in the market already, it will be pushed by supply and demand. So there's a possibility also that when it gets sold down, there's a possibility also when it corrects, you will have the possibility to buy it lower. Buying it lower will mean also that there's a chance that you can have higher dividend yields. Now, the offering period for this REIT is July 27 to July 31. That's why people are saying that this will be the first REIT, because the Double Dragon REIT would still be on October. And that's the reason why I'm publishing this video back to back with the Double Dragon video, because the offer period is already in the next few weeks. And the stock, the REIT, AREIT, would be listed August 7, 2020. So we're having the first REIT just 3 weeks from the time this video is out. Now, similar to an IPO, there's always an offer price. There will always be, like in an IPO price. So currently, by the time I'm making this video, or the time that info that I have by the time this video is out, the maximum offer price will be at 30.05 pesos per share. Please do note also that there will still be an offer price later on, but it would not be higher than 30.05, similar to the other videos I posted. Like, for example, Axelum, they had a maximum offer price, but the listing price was different and it was relatively lower. So it will be dependent also on the subscription. It will be dependent also on how it gets valued by people, by investors who would want to take it. For this one, since it's Ayala Land, it's Ayala, BPI Capital Corporation would be the global coordinator, and once it enters the market, you can buy it like any other stock out there. Next, AREIT shares to be sold. Please remember, there's primary shares to be sold, and then there's also secondary shares to be sold. Primary shares are new shares that are created and it goes straight as cash that they could use for expansion, while secondary shares are current shares that are sold by the current shareholders. So primary shares for this is 47.86 million, secondary shares are 409.02 million shares, and there's an over allotment of shares of 45.69 million secondary shares. Again, as what I've mentioned, this basically means that the primary shares are new shares that would be used for further expansion. And if it's sold at 30.05, the 47.86 million, it would raise 1.33 billion from the primary offer. So as what I've mentioned, the primary shares would give the company funding for them to be able to expand, which is a fourth building, which is in Cebu. The first 3 buildings are in Makati. The fourth one is in Cebu. It's Teleperformance. So you will get the building but excluding the land. Now, the secondary shares are sold by Ayala Land, and if you include the overallotment option and you estimate that it will be at 30.05, Ayala Land will be getting 13.3 billion, which Ayala Land in turn will use to further expand. So I got a lot of questions about who will benefit. Will Ayala Land also benefit? Ayala Land will also benefit because they are selling shares from what they own, and they will be raising 13.3 billion pesos. So that's a lot of money also. Again, after all of this, the public would get around 40%, but Ayala Land would still have around 41%, 41.6%. Then Ayala Land office would own around 9.39%, which entails that they still have majority of the shares in the market. Please do not buy this stock or this REIT just because I say it. Please buy it as you've analyzed it and it fits you. Please do remember, even though this is a REIT, since it's in the stock market, it would be subject to volatility. It would be subject to supply and demand. If you could not take the volatility, you could not take the chance that it would dip, it would go down, then I suggest don't go for it. But if you're in it for the dividends, then what you need to study is the price that it gets sold, then the dividend that they would give based on the earnings that they would have. So you can project, is the earnings that I'm getting from this worth it? Is it better still than me buying my own property as I start buying my own property? The rental yields that I'm getting from that, would that be better than me buying the stock? But then again, similar to what I did and said in the previous videos, the advantage of this is when you enter the stock market, anything that's in the stock market, the amount that you're paying for is not as big. This gives you a proxy to the real estate market without putting out a large amount of money, without taking out a loan, but you can get rental yields via the dividends that you will get. So my suggestion, after crossing all of the X's and dotting all of the dots that needs to be connected, and then you think that this is for you, start with a small amount, start practicing, start trying it, start trying to see if this is something that works for you, because I can only share it based on my own experience, and me doing it, investing in it, it has also given me a good source of passive income. It has also given me a good source of dividends. So if you're a person that likes dividend investing, I'm a big fan of dividend investing because dividend investing works. Dividend investing is passive income for life. So if your goal and your approach for this could be basically this: you buy a REIT because you're after the dividends, but because please remember also that if property prices are increasing, rental rates are also increasing. That means if rental rates are increasing, there's a big chance also that they could possibly earn more. And if they earn more, dividends also would be higher. If dividends would be higher, then it means that there will be capital appreciation because the yields are getting higher and people will buy it higher because of the yields that they are getting. In this new normal, as we are entering different times, as we are entering different opportunities, I really do hope that you start to try. I really do hope that if there's one thing that's so important and so real to all of you, is that saving and investing is more important in this era, because you need to develop assets that will work hard for you. And I'll say it over and over, better have an asset that has a potential to make money but also has the potential to lose money than have nothing at all, not having any assets. Because at the end of the day, if everything is in cash or everything are in items that don't have the potential to make money for you, then 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line, you will end up with nothing. And I hope that this is not just something that entertains you and gives you something that's a food for thought, but I hope that videos like this and all of the other videos that I've been talking about regarding REITs are something that would encourage you, inspire you, and cause you to act, because it does not take much. Please remember, 30.05 maximum shares. 30.05 multiplied by 10 shares, that's just 3,000 pesos. Multiplied by 100 shares, that's just 30,000 pesos. Some of you buy phones that are more expensive than that, and that should be your mentality. If nanghihinayang kayo mag-invest kasi baka mawala yung pera nyo, guess what? Yung phone na binili nyo, wala nang value yun. Yung binili nyo phone 10, 15, 20 years ago, then wala nang value yun eh. So better think about your future first. Better fund your future first. And I really believe that investing in the stock market and investing in REITs is a better alternative than buying stuff that you don't need to impress people that don't even like you. And it's better that you take advantage of you funding your future first. So again, if you want me to make a deep dive on AREIT, put it in the comment section. I want AREIT, deep dive AREIT. Or if you want further explanation on REITs, put it in the comment section. By the way, my name is Marvin Germo. I'm a stock market trader and investor. If you're new to this channel, I create daily videos on investing, on trading, on the stock market with one goal in mind. I just really want to educate as much people as possible that while you are in the prime of your years, you need to create multiple streams of income for you. And as much as I love the stock market, please remember the name of the game still is multiple streams of income, multiple sources of income. Because if you have multiple sources of income, guess what? It will allow you to have either a hedge when times are bad, but not just that, you have other assets that are working hard for you, even if you can no longer work hard. And that's what's important about it. So if you're new to this, appreciate it if you can subscribe and smash that bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content. And if you believe this video has added so much value to you, appreciate it if you can like, you can share this so that we create more and more Filipinos investing. All of our books are now complete via Shopee. The link is in the description. 2 online courses, link is in the description. For those of you who want to invest in US stocks, link is in the description below, only for $50. Then for those who want to invest in mutual funds, the stock market, links are down below for videos on brokerages and everything else in between. And then my second YouTube account is also down below. So I hope that this gave you enough insight for you to be able to start, for you to be able to invest, because we are still in one of the greatest eras for you to be able to trade, for you to be able to invest, and for you to be able to reach your goals of financial freedom. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.